Welcome back to Bobby King's Iraqi Dinar News. I'm your host, Bobby King, bringing you the latest updates straight from the heart of the action. And folks, it looks like we could be looking really good for something to happen this week in terms of notifications and exchanges. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and support this channel so you never miss the latest breaking news. Let's dive right in. For years, Iraq's economic reforms have been a subject of speculation, rumor, and cautious optimism. Conversations have unfolded in hushed tones, in Baghdad's crowded markets, in private offices lit by flickering bulbs, and in online communities that cling to every scrap of news. But this week, something feels different. The air is charged. Reports filtering through a web of credible sources suggest that we might finally be on the brink of a tangible breakthrough. Not a vague promise of soon, but a concrete, measurable step forward, notifications, exchanges, and potentially the kind of official confirmations that could set an entirely new course for Iraq's financial future. And it might all begin this week. A signal among the noise in Iraq, the line between rumor and reality has often been blurred. In the past, hope has risen only to be dashed by delays, bureaucratic battles, and political gridlock. But this time, multiple independent resources, some with close ties to financial institutions and government officials, are hinting at the same conclusion: we're closer than ever. That convergence of information is rare. It's the kind of alignment that doesn't happen by accident. It suggests coordination behind the scenes, perhaps quiet agreements, finalized decisions, or a sequence of steps already set in motion. One senior economist in Baghdad, speaking off the record, described it as a clock already ticking, and we're nearing the alarm. The shock factor here's the surprising part. These developments are unfolding much faster than many expected. While international observers had anticipated incremental changes stretching into next year, whispers from inside Iraq suggest the timeline may have collapsed into days, not months. If true, that means we could see notifications to key financial stakeholders, an official acknowledgement of new exchange frameworks, and perhaps even public announcements before the week closes. That's not just an economic move, it's a geopolitical signal. It tells the world that Iraq is ready to step onto a different stage, no longer content to be a bystander in global trade and investment. Why this matters now: Iraq's financial system has long been weighed down by outdated infrastructure, inconsistent policies, and a currency whose value has been a subject of both domestic frustration and international speculation. But recent reforms, including tightened banking regulations, anti-corruption measures, and new digital infrastructure, have been building toward a critical tipping point. The IMF has quietly noted improvements in Iraq's fiscal discipline, and foreign investors have been circling, waiting for clarity. Clarity may be just days away. For ordinary Iraqis, that could mean more stable prices in the marketplace, stronger purchasing power for the dinar, a renewed sense of financial security after years of uncertainty. For the region, it could mean increased trade flows, a fresh wave of investment capital, a stronger economic bridge between East and West. Hope rising. There's an undeniable sense of cautious hope among those following these developments. Hope, because Iraq has endured decades of war, sanctions, and political instability, and yet here it stands, on the threshold of something that could rewrite its economic narrative. In the words of one Iraqi market trader, "We've heard promises before. But this feels like the day before a long-awaited wedding. Everything is prepared, we're just waiting for the ceremony to begin." It's a poetic way of expressing a very real sentiment. Hope tempered by history, but alive nonetheless. The unanswered questions: of course, there's still much we don't know. The exact details of these potential exchanges, the mechanisms of the notifications, and the timeline for full public disclosure remain tightly guarded. It's also worth remembering that in Iraq, as in any country undergoing major reform, last-minute political or technical delays are possible. A shift in one government office can ripple outward, changing plans overnight. But the fact that so many unrelated sources are pointing toward the same imminent moment is not something to dismiss lightly. The bigger picture: if these exchanges and notifications proceed as anticipated, Iraq will send a clear message to its own citizens and to the international community. It is ready to reclaim its financial sovereignty and chart a course toward stability. It would be a step that transforms headlines from crisis to opportunity. A step that attracts partnerships instead of pity. A step that tells the world, Iraq is open for business. The ripple effects could be profound. International corporations, currently cautious about entering the Iraqi market, could see this as a green light. Infrastructure projects could accelerate. And for the Iraqi diaspora, it could be the sign they've been waiting for to return, invest, and rebuild. Waiting for the spark. As we move through the next few days, each hour carries weight. The chatter is constant, from tea shops in Karbala to financial chat rooms in London, as observers wait for the spark that could ignite a long-anticipated transformation. Will the notifications land before the week's end? Will the exchanges open in the way many hope? We cannot yet say for certain. But we can say this: something is stirring in Iraq, and this time, the world is paying attention. Because history teaches us that when change comes to nations like Iraq, nations with deep resources, young populations, and untapped potential, it rarely comes quietly. And when it does arrive, it can reshape more than just a country's currency. It can reshape its destiny. In the end, I want to ask all my friends watching to stay positive and patient, because patience truly is the key to success. Please subscribe to my channel and show your support. Wishing you all a wonderful day. Thank you so much.